All right, that's amazing. So, as we already know, you've done this for like 20 years,
Mm.
what advice do you have for people who are trying to do singing professionally, whether it's part-time or full-time? What kind of advice would you give them? Mm,
Like through the years at the cafe, sometimes I have mentored like younger singers, performers before. They just came into the scene, but that was last time. I'm not too sure about the generation now, but I always tell them the same thing. Even until now, some of my friends, I told them the same thing also. It's like, see, singing is a skill set that you can learn. You can always constantly improve.
mm,
If you don't think you're a good singer now, it's okay. Keep practicing, and somehow your skills will improve. You'll get
mm,
better. But I feel more importantly, um, if you want to, have a longer uh, lifespan in this industry,
mm,
similar to all other industries, I feel it's all about your attitude sometimes.
mm,
It's like
mm,
you there are bound to have people giving you feedback, whether in constructive or not. And your attitude, your work ethics, you know, being on time,
mm,
being kind, respectful of those seniors, and even being nice to people who are not as senior as you.
mm,
Uh, I've always been a firm believer in that. So with good attitude, right, it will get you somewhere.
mm.
Yeah, and if you're easy to work with, even though you might not be the best instrumentalist or the best singer, but then there are always someone better than you see.
Mm.
Yeah, so
And sometimes talent is not everything. Like, for example, I used to be an agent. I would
mm,
rather work with people who are easy to work with.
yeah,
I mean, not necessarily like they're walkovers, no, but they don't give problems. They have good attitude.
mm,
Whether they are the best in Singapore, whatever, it does not matter because you can be so talented and so sought after. But if it's so hard to reach you, you're not accessible, you're always replying messages so late, not responsive. That's what you're talking about, right? The attitude of like,
yes,
because live band
yes,
is a team effort
yes,
in that
exactly.
sense. Yeah.
Mm,
And also just
correct.
to maybe, add on to what you said, there are also singers who are like a bit, I won't use the B word, but like for example, if the guitarist or the pianist, played something wrongly, they can give a death stare and everything is just
Yeah,
exposed on stage,
yes, yes,
Yeah, but
correct.
from the, customer's point of view, they're like, wow, this, what is this? Like, is there internal
Mm,
conflict or whatever? It doesn't look nice on stage as well. Things like that.
exactly, exactly. So like you say, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
So really, I always believe what goes around comes around. Like,
Mm,
uh, you just bottom line is be just empathize and be kind because you never know that someone who are more maybe not as senior as you
mm,
um one final day they could be doing better than us or whatnot, but
mm.
yeah,
Because
it's ever
fame
changing.
is a strange thing. It can hit anybody.
Yeah,
And people that you don't think they'll be famous, they can suddenly be famous and, that kind of thing. I mean, not that it
yeah.
matters, but I think it's just important to be respectful to anyone.
Mm,
Yeah. Mm,
exactly. So that's what I think lah. Yeah lor. That I mean, if you want to be in this industry, yeah lah, you need to have proper work ethic. So I think some people guess I guess some people think that, oh, this job is like
mm,
it's kind of like freelancing. You handle your own work schedule. It's very flexible. But you treat it like a career, and I feel that
mm,
with those attitude, with those
mm,
the kind of morals or ethics that you have, it will bring you somewhere. At least,
mm,
you'll have a stable string of jobs that will come in.
mm,
Yeah, yeah.
mm.
That's how I feel.
I want to go back a little bit about what I said earlier, like when your pianist or guitarist plays something wrong,
Mm.
what do you think is the right way to go about that? That means at that moment, right, when it happens, what would you usually do? And after the performance, what would you usually do?
I think nowadays, right, whenever people play wrong, if you're talking about like playing the wrong key, because it's
Uh,
obviously not my key. So what I'll do is I won't make a face at the audience, but I will just turn back and say, wrong key, wrong key. like
Mm.
that lah, and
Mm.
let them
Mm.
know. But basically, it's not letting the audience know that anything is wrong on stage.
Mm. Mm.
I'll let them know so that because sometimes they really like it. I mean, I make mistake too.
Mm.
Nobody is perfect. I make mistake
Right,
too.
right.
I sing wrong before. Uh yeah. So I'll just let them know, and then they will change. And I mean, wrong notes and everything. It happens lah. Live and let live.
Mm. Mm.
So after that, generally, I don't really want to have I don't really have a discussion with them, like a serious
Mm.
discussion with them after that. But
Mm.
we'll just laugh about it, I
Yeah.
guess.
Mm.
Yeah, nowadays lah, unless it's a
Mm.
really, really like dire and serious mistake, then
Mm.
I will just after the set, then we'll just have a talk like I say, hey, just now what happened? Why? So it's a you can talk about it, but most importantly, it's the tone of how you say it.
Mm.
Yeah. And many a times all these people they're my seniors too. Yeah. So even though I
Especially when you
am
first started out, they can still be seniors and play wrongly. It's
yes,
still
yes.
possible, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so even after 20 years in the industry, sometimes when I'm not feeling well or what, my mind is just not there, I can do wrong things too.
Right.
So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, I think it's important to hear from you because I think a lot of beginner singers or they want to form bands of their own and
mm,
they partner with people and then they don't know the communication part,
mm.
and it can be tough to get a live band going,
Yes,
because it's usually not about the music, it's usually about the communication skills and
yes.
how do you communicate amongst your group members and to have continuity in that sense.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. But I think from a professional standpoint, it's never to make your band members look bad on stage.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's so important, right? Because then
Yes.
it always leaves a bitter taste in the customers or the audience's mouth, like, wow, what are they doing on stage? That kind of
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for you and me, now
Mm,
we focuses on corporate events and weddings,
mm,
one-off gigs more.
mm,
So I think the more important it is to take note of this line, live and let live. I mean, it's a one-off gig.
mm,
Unless it's something really shitty happens, then you talk
mm,
about it.
mm,
But most of the time is everybody just want to have a good show.
mm,
Yeah. But if that compared to you having your own
mm,
band, having a regulars, which I have done before last time at Shuffle, is very different. So the communication for you have a band itself, a brand name by itself, that one is even more challenging, which we have
mm,
experienced before. We constantly have serious meetings and discussion, but
mm,
you learn along the way, and and like what you said, communication is very important. That determines how long a band can stay together.
mm.
Yeah, yeah, lah.
That's
Mm.
why we hear of bands are breaking up and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one last question for you. Actually, it could sound a bit repetitive. I'm not sure, but you just share whatever's on your mind. But what
Mm.
what kind of mindset do you think is necessary, to have lasting power as a professional singer in the industry? Because, like I think it's one thing to try to break into the scene, but it's another thing to be able to do this, for 10 years, 20 years, and what do you think are the important conditions or mindset to last this long?
Mm. It's basically it's very similar to running your own business, right?
Mm.
What we are doing is basically very
Yeah, yeah,
similar to
yeah.
running our own
Yes.
business.
Mm.
It's just that we don't have anybody to report to, but our voice is our main asset.
Mm.
And I feel that discipline, um,
Our voice and
one,
our look.
sorry, yeah,
Our
exactly.
voice and our look.
Yes.
I sound very superficial and bimbo, but it's not. It's entertainment,
Yeah, it's
right?
entertainment. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's part and parcel of the job.
Mm.
So being disciplined, like when I first started out,
Mm.
I really was very disciplined when it comes to my diet. Like no
Mm.
chili, no durian, no fried stuff.
Mm.
Um, yeah, no chocolate, because to preserve my voice. Because in the beginning, I was like singing regularly, almost every night at pubs, and then doing events as well. So if you're not disciplined, right, once you fall sick, your voice is gone, and that's it. You
Mm.
see? Yeah. So it not only and it creates a lot of problem for a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, it's true,
Mm.
it's true. It's the trying to find a replacement. But every time we fall sick, it's not just about losing the income. We still have to go and see a doctor and pay
Yeah.
for the medical bills ourselves because we're not, we can't claim
Yes.
bills from anybody. It's irritating.
Yeah. So it's a lot of factors like you need to fork out additional money.
Yeah.
You're losing income, but yet you need to go and see doctor.
Mm,
At the same time, you s- you keep stressing yourself about when my voice will come back.
mm,
Initially, when I started falling sick, right, because like vocal cord is a muscle, right? So
mm,
you slowly need to build up, and you're not used to it in the beginning because I was singing almost every night. So I tend to fall sick and lose my voice very easily.
mm,
It comes to a point whereby I asked the doctor, it's like, is there any way to bring my voice back faster? So there was a time where they told me that injection can help,
mm. The
right?
steroids, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Which I took once or twice, no, and it
I've
really
never
came
tried it
back.
before. I
I've
was so
tried it,
scared. How was
yeah,
it?
but I was desperate, so I did,
Right.
and my voice really came back.
Wow.
But not long after,
Okay.
I lost it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then I realized that okay, this cannot go on. Then
Mm,
after I think the two times I've stopped and I really like just take it easy and try to bring back my voice the natural way.
mm.
Yeah, so it's better. So discipline is one thing. Um, and then the next thing I feel is something very simple, but yet not a lot of us can do it, which is not to compare. You know what I mean? Because like I said, right, all of us performer in this scene, we are doing what we are doing because we love attention. We crave attention.
Mm,
And
mm.
when you are craving attention, especially in this current time when social media is so rampant,
Right.
right? So all
Yeah.
the performance, uh, be it instrumentalists or performers or singers, they will constantly post about their gig,
Yeah. I performed here
right?
today. I performed there today. The
Yes,
kind. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you let it get to you, then you will start to compare. How come this person is getting more gig than me?
Mm,
Am I doing
mm,
something wrong? Am I doing not enough?
mm,
Am I not good enough?
mm,
Am I like not pretty enough and everything? And it will affect your mental health, you see.
mm,
So if you want to be in this scene, you have to remember that there are peak period lah, and there are lull period.
mm.
And for everybody it's different. I mean, there
And
will
there are
be some days where
some years that are better,
mm,
some years that are a bit like,
exactly correct. So like for
right.
example, next year is a dragon year, probably there'll be more gigs.
I know if we
I'm not
believe in
sure.
this kind of things, right? Some years are really better than others.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so end of the day is I mean sometimes it affects me too. So then I try not to browse too much of social media and I guess end of the day is everybody started out at different point in time and everybody peaks at different point in time as well.
Mm, yeah.
Uh yeah lor, yeah lor. So you just got to know that
Maybe
as
when you were really at your peak for some
mm,
years, those people were like having a lull period, you know.
exactly,
You never know, right?
exactly.
Because you
Yes,
just always look at what you are missing out on. Yeah, but when you're in your glorious form, you're just basking in your own happiness. You don't really look at people who are in the
yes,
shadows in that sense.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm,
yeah. And that is something so simple, but yet it's so hard to understand.
mm,
So yeah, so there are ups and downs.
mm,
Um, you really have to know how to get through it. Yeah, in order to have the mindset, like you want to have lasting, you want to last in this industry lah.
mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. Like if after 20 years, uh, uh, 15 years full time, there are days where there are months whereby I don't really do I don't get much gigs, especially now that I don't do regulars anymore also.
mm, mm.
So it comes and goes, but just make sure that whenever you have a gig, you have a booking, you just got to do your best lor, and have the
Mm,
best attitude lor, and
mm.
and then you will attract more things to come lah. I feel the mindset is very important lah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Mm,
I also know of musicians who they actually always appear very negative about like, oh, I don't have enough gigs and there's a victim mindset, and actually it makes
Mm,
everybody feel very uncomfortable around them.
yeah.
Yeah, and maybe the person just wants to remind everyone, hey, can you give me more gigs? But it turns
Mm,
out it can actually backfire. It's like,
mm.
oh, he's always so negative to be around with. I'd rather not work with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean. And it's true. So it's really the mind over matters lah.
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah. So yeah lah. So just gotta take it easy and that's what I've been teaching my kids also. So
Mm,
not to compare. It's really tough, but it's
mm,
something that once you learn how to do right, you really
mm.
become a happier person.
Mm, right,
Mm,
right, right, right. Because I
yeah.
think sometimes we forget that there's only one of us in this world. So we are already unique in that sense.
Mm,
Yeah. So of course we can try to reflect and see how else we can improve. But it doesn't mean that when people are getting more gigs, then there's something wrong with us. Maybe it really is just the period thing that's going on, and we just have to
yeah.
write on it lah. Yeah.
Yeah, and different clients look for different things, ma,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Not
yeah.
everybody is different. So yeah, lah, you sell different things, lah. Your selling point is different, lah.
Mm, 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 mm.
Mm.